Hello, and today's video is going to be on classical republics like Rome and Greece, ancient Greece. Not the history of the countries, but what a classical republic is, the hierarchy and how it works, and why it is more successful than a republic, feudalism, a monarchy, and why I'm a fan of it myself. So I'll start off with the basis of a republic. So a republic is where people are elected from across the nation and then are elected out of those, in order to become part of the top leaders, or in modern day terms, the parliament, or in democracy, when you vote for a certain party, that party, essentially. But that party is not filled with just members of its own kind. So I'll start out from the bottom and move up to the top. So in your local village or town or city, whatever, you would elect someone to be your representative of that area, village, town, city, whatever. And then out of all of those, like villages and town cities, or villages and towns and a city in a certain area, would be elected a person who is representative for that entire area. Then essentially it goes up to the next level, you'd represent someone for that entire area, and then you essentially would vote on someone else who in the end government, which the lowest rank there would be the patrician. There would also be like if you like the in ancient Rome, for example, the Julii, Scipii, and Brutii, which were the main families of the time, you may have different jobs given to you by the Senate, like tax management and things like that. And it goes up after patrician. You then have a senator. You then have grand senator, and then after that, you would have a consulate, like. For example, in ancient Rome, you had one of the best generals in the Punic Wars. Was also Consulate Scipio. I don't know why. I should be probably looking at the camera, not down at my face on the screen. But that's what I'm doing anyway, because why not? So in ancient Greece, for example, it'd be a little bit different because they were the ones that originally invented democracy. So their version of classical republic was different to Rome, but was not quite a democracy in the way it worked. You elected people from certain areas as you are, but you elected on eventually a party who would rule over your city-state, and eventually who would rule over the entirety of Greece, which at the time had a lot of different colonies, which I'm not going to go into in this video. But essentially the thing is why I think it's much more effective than a monarchy and a feudalism is in like my despotism video, I mentioned how one person can't rule over a large empire. Now, if you vote on people to rule over every single different area for your people, so you vote on who rules over every single area, that's very effective, as it can work almost endlessly until there's too much land, too many representatives, and it just all falls apart. But that stage is quite high, which is why these republics have never failed. And essentially what happens is, so in order to implement these republics, it's extremely difficult because the classical republican times, these classical republics were first brought in when the country was founded. Like Rome, it was a classical republic up until imperialism. Well, Roman imperialism anyway, because we don't want to talk about 18th century imperialism until I read the video. And then you had other reasons it worked, like because it was so massive though, issues with corruption were absolutely rife. Corruption was horrendous, with just paying people to do whatever you want, and war wariness. So people would feel the effects of war more in a republic than you would say in despotism, because for starters, you probably wouldn't really know about the war and it'd be so far away from you. Whereas in a republic, if you lose a place, if you lose a city in a classical republic, your entire empire is going to feel that. We'll come back from that is not resultant because of the way it works. It's just going to completely disrupt the system. Now, I'm a fan of it because, unlike a democracy where it's just whoever's got the most money and heavily corrupt individuals, where some people are uncorruptible, where they just don't take the corruption money. But in this way, anyone can become the leader of the country. You just need to get more votes. You just need to get the most votes, and it just shows how you can get there through just being really likable or having good ideologies that are really liked by people. Like I'd probably say right now, ideologies that are really blowing up with the people is environmentalism and intellectualism are probably some of the main policies blowing up at the moment. But policies against mass destruction and that are always very liked as well. And it works like much more than feudalism, which is also a system which involves that, because in feudalism it's lords appointed by the overall monarch. In classic republic, everyone is voted in, and there's nothing else, no exceptions from it. As a republic, whereas a feudalism can also be pretty expansive and big because of the system it works around. And if you lose a place, a city or lord, it's not going to affect the system as much as losing a city in a classical republic. It can still affect the whole system.